Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. In today's Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls guide, we're going to be talking about the concepts of team building. So this game is 4 versus 4. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like tag games have a lot of characters just in general in fighting games. 4 versus 4 is a lot, and it can be really intimidating to pick 4 characters. Now, I'm here to tell you the easy part. You don't really need to think of it in that way. So yes, you pick 4 characters, but the way you should realistically look at it is 1 character with 3 assists or 2 characters with 3 assists. You have to pick characters in a very specific order in your team, right? And I'm here to tell you that, say your 4th character is not as important as your 1st character. The 1st character is what you base everything around. The 2nd character is pretty important, but if you don't want to focus on them, you don't have to. They can just be an assist. And characters 3 and 4, pick them for the assist. But let's go through the logic of team building, and let me give you some examples of team synergies. So when you pick a character, pick who you like first and foremost. Like if you like Blade, pick Blade. And if you like Blade, by the way, good taste. Blade rules. But what matters here is you pick someone you can dig, and we build everything around that 1st character. The 1st character is the most important character. It's the face of the team. It's the one that's going to get most of the work done. And that's the other thing too, why I talk about your first 2 characters, the only ones that really matter. When you start a game, the first 2 characters are the only 2 characters you can work with. The other characters will eventually unlock over the course of the match, but what they have to offer is not there at the start when you're both screaming and mashing buttons at each other, right? So when you look at importance, the most important people are the people who can work at the start of a match. If you can't work at the start of the match, then I guess they're not that important in the end, are they? Because realistically, there's going to be games where you might not get character 3 or 4 till a round or 2 or 3 in, right? Either you start losing rounds, or say you're steamrolling, but you didn't get a wall break, and if you're steamrolling and didn't get a wall break, you get no unlocks. So you can't always rely on them to be there. Now, of course, they're a very important part of the team building process, don't get me wrong, but focus on the first 2. So first 2, pick the character you want to play, and then who's the second one? Well, the second one's always going to be your shooter assist. Your shooter assists, they shoot. To be real, a lot of this is genericized to a degree. There's different projectiles, different hit stuns, different block stuns that do some different things, but in the end, they shoot. So, okay, if they shoot, they can shoot. They have the generic hit assist, everyone has that, and they'll have an air assist. So, when we're looking at our first character, besides the main character on our team here, this is what we have to work with, so let's build according to that. So, we picked Blade here, right? That's our example. Blade's a really solid all-rounder. He can do a lot of things at a lot of ranges. One of the things that he's really good at, his gunshot. His gunshot is very long-lasting, and it's easy to tell if you got the hit, right? Because it's just a long-lasting animation. Did I get the hit? And if you got the hit, okay, let's pair it with a shooter assist, right? And with Blade, specifically, it's trivial for him to get, more full combos from full screen. You got the hit, okay, cool. We got our hit, and now, boom, get a combo in, do something like that. So, a character that has a decent enough shooter assist to help work with Blade from full screen, that's probably someone who's going to be an attractive pick for you. And again, for shooter assist, somewhat genericized, a lot of people can do that. It's not particularly difficult to find someone who can play ball with someone like Blade, right, in the way of the shooter assist. So again, when it comes to that, since it's genericized, again, your first character, pick someone you like. Your second character, probably also pick someone you like, especially because they're the most realistic character for you to tag into in the middle of a match. But now, the shooter assist, that's a little bit generic, but what about the air assist? That's a little less generic. So someone like Blade, his air assist, he shoots you. Sure, Blade, that's what Blade do, right? But notice here, specific angles, he can easily overshoot people. He can, just miss the ballpark entirely, but at a range where Blade will completely miss, Norman will not, because he doesn't have a projectile air attack. He has a dive kick air attack. Same thing, Carnage has kind of a dive kick style air attack. So the 3 assist places of shooter, vertical, and unique, those are fixed, but the air attack is unique character to character. So when you have your point character, maybe look at someone who can give you something that can work with. So when you're looking at your first character, the one you always are guaranteed to have, maybe look at someone that can help you with the air. So let's go back to Blade, right? So say we want to pepper whip enemy with some gunshots and then work our way with our buttons. So someone like Green Goblin, dive kick, it's very aggressive, yes, but it's not really meant to do more of a neutral game plan. It's very aggressive. Versus someone like Shuri, she tosses a big projectile and keeps herself safe in the air. So when you're trying to do more keep away, try to do more buttons, she can be a bit more valuable. But say we do want that dive kick like Green Goblin, but we want a better angle. Okay, so Captain America has a more aggressive angle, so maybe we want to do that. But say we want to do something like run away, keep away, right? When we're calling our air assist. Well, Magneto's got some of the best, because like Magneto's is just a giant projectile that covers basically the entire screen. It also sets him up to have some of his unique resource on the screen so he can use it for later as well. So if you're looking to set up shop too for Magneto for later on, this is a good way to do it. Basically, there's values in the different assists for the air assist that you can think of besides just what projectile do they give me for shooter. Because like going back to Green Goblin, we already talked about like he's got a bit of a shallow angle, right? Like, wouldn't I just want Captain America goes further? Well, the shallow angle is not a bad thing, because if I do it, say, point blank, it'll hit. So from like basically beside the enemy, Green Goblin will connect. From basically beside the enemy, Captain America is going to completely whiff. So the angles are also something to keep in mind. Especially someone like Black Panther, because she has that unique dash, right? So she can do fun stuff like call the assist and use the unique dash and it hits on the other end. And with the rule of cross-ups, you always have to block the character, the main character, wherever they are. So in this situation, you had to block me, the Black Panther, and if you didn't, then we're going for the ride, basically, right? We're going to get comboed. So the air assist is an important part of why you should pick a character, because that's unique, independent of the generic projectile assist. Now, for the vertical assist, kind of the same logic we already went through applies. It's just, what version do you want? Someone like Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom, he's got a great beam that covers a pretty solid angle, right? Nice. Someone like Wolverine. Wolverine has an uppercut style assist, if you will. And it basically comes down to what angles do you prefer? The one thing is usually the ones that are like uppercut style assists do have some level of anti-air invulnerability or otherwise traits, like say Wolverine's. Wolverine's is armored. So notice that he takes the hit from Iron Man and he still keeps going on the other end, right? So it's basically, what kind of defense are you looking for? Preemptive or active? So if you are fighting someone who's actively in the air and coming at you, someone like Wolverine might be a bit more, useful, especially because he has the armor and he can tank the hit. Versus someone like Doom will stop them before they even get close. Again, it's just all the flavor. Like Magneto, also like Doom, has a projectile. Just his, he's more of a zoner. His is bigger and covers a lot more of the screen. So if you're just looking to control the screen, Magneto would be a great option. But again, more uppercuts, different angles. Like Spider-Man also, as an uppercut, has invincibility against jump attacks. So when Iron Man jumps in, he can just go through that stuff, right? And covers a slightly different angle than Wolverine. It's a game of basically angles. So look for that. And again, keep in mind the air assists, as those are important. But the back assists, this is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest decision to team making besides the character you're actually mostly going to play. So again, team building, the first character, that's the character you're going to be doing the most work with, right? But in a lot of ways, that fourth and final character is almost important, because the fourth and final character has their own unique assist. It doesn't follow the shooter or vertical rules or whatever. Everyone just does something fully unique and only to them, and it can wildly change how the game works. Let's start with Penny, because Penny is a great example. And I'm just going to put this out there right now. If you don't know who you want for your fourth assist, pick Penny. Because Penny just dumps trash on the screen. Her random mechanic, she dumps 2 items in quick order. This is faster than she herself can normally do it. She is normally like rate limited to toss out her random items. Like it has to be a little bit of a cooldown that goes through. If she's the back assist, she can do 2 in a row back to back. So if you don't know what you want out of your team, filling the screen with a lot of trash is always a very attractive prospect, especially because some of these random items can be very, very strong that could lead to like potentially game-changing consequences. And as an assist, just neutral, you can call this pretty quickly back to back. So if you don't know what you want, I think Penny is one of the stronger assists in the game, because it gives her the core of the whole point. You pick the character with the random assist, you get to do it better than she herself gets to do it normally when she's a playable character. and you can have it on demand whenever you want. So I'm Wolverine, right? Am I going to go low? Am I going to go overhead? Who knows? And also, who knows, with all this trash and garbage just flying all over the screen at once, it's going to be even harder to guess. And that's just Penny. Say Spider-Man, right? He has a full screen projectile, and basically it's a get over here kind of thing, right? And that's great, because, well, it's great. Cool, it hit. Combo time, right? Sure, but it's really strong if you're looking for like a mix-up focused team, because it pulls you. And one of the things that can pull you, like say the opponent's just like blocking all my stuff here, and say they are blocking my overheads and my lows, but with the Spider-Man assist, it can pull them out of the corner. So say while I'm doing all this and attacking you, right? Spider-Man can pull you out of the corner, and all of a sudden we have another layer mix-up, because now I can hit you as a cross-up, but normally in the corner I cannot hit you with a cross-up because he's pulling you out of the corner. That is now something you got to worry about, right? So this assist with Peter Parker, he can create mix-ups where mix-ups don't exist. How about someone like Dr. Doom? Dr. Doom summons his laser, and that's just a threat on the screen that kind of has to be acknowledged, because if you don't, the beam's coming, right? It's a way to control the screen. So say I'm playing Magneto, and my whole game plan here is just to fill the screen with trash and all that, right? Another great layer of filling the screen with trash is now on top of everything else you have to worry about. You also have to worry about that Dr. Doom beam coming your way, which can make just getting around and dealing with my zoning all the more difficult. So these back assists, some of these can just give very strong situations, right? Mix-up potential, boost your presence in neutral, or for like Penny, just throw a garbage and hope something works, right? Storm's like almost like a gotcha. So Storm, she pulls the opponent in against their will and then tosses a tornado on the screen. And it's one of those, okay, did you block? Maybe I'll try a cross-up, try some sort of mix-up, just, see what we got. But also, that projectile is very strong and creates a gigantic knock-up effect. Like, it's enough where it hit. Oh, you got all the time in the world to convert off that hit. So say the opponent's like doing their thing from full screen, like they're doing whatever, it doesn't really matter. So look at this. Okay, I'm going to navigate the maze a bit, right? And as I'm navigating that maze, I'll call Storm. Oh, so because you're doing whatever you're doing, you got pulled into the projectile. You got pulled into the trap. And then, once again, from here, I get a combo thanks to that, right? So these fourth assists, your back assists, can be game-winning by themselves. This is why it's so important. Like another one I love a lot is Captain America's. Captain America, he just blocks, and then he attacks. And if he blocks anything, he attacks right away. So you can kind of just run in, call him, and then slow the game down. Because if you try to hit a button, he will attack back right away. Like we have some defensive assists with like the down assist, the vertical assists. But this kind of can just slow the game down. Because if he's remotely near you, you don't want to hit a button. But he will eventually attack on his own. And if he's far away, he'll do a range attack like the dunk to make up for it, right? So he can kind of slow the whole pace of the game down, which is really interesting. Mix-ups, pressures, screen control. There's a lot of reasons to pick the fourth character. Like Magic. You just want to dominate the screen for an assist call? That's exactly what she does. And it's basically about 75% of the screen's a no-fly zone when she does her thing. Like sometimes it's just brute force, but brute force works out great. So now that you see how powerful some of these abilities are, I think you can appreciate why that back character, even if you won't necessarily tag into him, there's very, very low incentive to actually tag into the final character. They're there to use the power of their assist, and those assists help shape your game plan. Pressure, mix-up, zoning, or just toss out random crap and hope it works out for the best. That's what the power of that character is, and that's why they're so integral to just how your game plan works, because they give basically super attacks for free almost. So that's some of the thought process behind team building in the game. Again, in the end, rule of cool is the most important. Play who you like. But realistically, the most important characters on the team is the first one. The second one, yeah, you could probably use them a fair bit. But 3 and 4, yeah, use them for the assists mostly, and especially for 4. Not to say you'll never pick them, but for some characters, and again, if you don't know who you want, I highly suggest Penny just because she does a better version of her core mechanic and just fills the screen with trash, right? The last assist is very important because it's the strongest assist by a lot, and it can shape what your whole team is to that point. But yeah, that's some team building 101. Make sure to check the playlist for other guides on the channel for Marvel Tokon. There's already plenty up, and there'll be plenty more to come. And otherwise, that's it for me, and that's it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Marvel Tokon.